kind of. Okay, Stuka Joe here, January 23rd, the last day of the 5th Bellota Con here in Badajoz, Spain. It's like 11 o'clock a.m. here. People are going to start to leave in the afternoon. This is the last day. They usually start leaving around 2, 3. So let's see what's going on the tables. Some people are leaving now, but we're going to be here until about 3 o'clock. And let's hope that we don't drop the transmission here. See what they're playing over here. This is a game that looks like Twilight Struggle. Something to midnight. Two minutes to midnight. Okay, so that's the Spanish version. Here we have this. This is a card game that simulates miniature warfare in the ancient world. Coming out soon. It's Onus. Have the Norway game by Trafalgar Editions.
Vamos a tirar también por la batería acústica. Entonces, aquí igual, con 4 5, con 5 6 detectan. Sale 4 no detecta. Aquí que hubo combate naval y perdiste tu juego -1. Exacto, sí. Vale. Vuelvo a tirar para ver a qué cosas se quedan. Y se van a lo cual estos se van a ir pues aquí. Estos entran.
Patrick Burke, welcome. We got more games by Trafalgar Editions. This is the Austerlitz game. The original game just brings the counters, but they have enhanced this one with little minis. It's actually like a miniature game, but with a board. And here you have the Panzerkampf, that so also like a miniatures rules game. They're playing this Philippines 1896 game here, 1898, by Headquarter Games. You can see there the artwork. Over here they're playing a game that I purchased, which is World at War Europe. And people taking photographs. I gotta take photographs because I won't see these guys till next year, so. This is a Nuts Publishing Okay, we're playing a Normandy game.
Hello,
Hello.
how do you do?
Fine, how you doing? This is playing a Normandy game, right? This is a Normandy game?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Now, please go ahead. I'll just...
Definitive Normandy game.
The definitive Normandy game.
Definitive.
Oh boy, that's a lot. Those are big words. I guess I'll have to keep an eye on this one then, because in the United States everybody loves Normandy for some reason, right? Okay, well, we'll keep on playing. Keep enjoying. What's the name of the game?
Beaches of Normandy.
Beaches of Normandy. Okay.
44.
And the designer, I'm sure you can pronounce it better than I.
The designer is Krzysztof Ditzak,
Okay.
Polish designer.
Okay.
I'm the developer of the game for Nuts Publishing.
Okay, and this is for those of you who don't know. This is Scott Moore's. So you're developing the game for Nuts Publishing. Okay. So it looks and it has all the beaches there, right? Yes,
Yeah,
it's
so this is just the prototype graphics,
of course, yes.
and we've just started the beach landings. So now we're resolving the Canadian landing on Juno Beach.
Okay, you see there the Canadians,
The
Juno.
British is playing the British and the German Americans.
Oh, I see. So this is like what was it? Battle for Germany kind of,
Yes.
where you have you play both sides, but you play opposing factions on both sides. So you're trying to ruin the Allied landings at the American landings, and at the American player with his Germans is trying to ruin the British and Canadian landings, right?
Exactly.
Okay, nice. Okay, so I
It's a
see.
little friendly competition between the allies.
Yes, of course, and the Americans and the British they got along so well, didn't they?
Of course.
Okay, well, enjoy. Thank you. Okay. Good morning from Fort Bragg, Jeffrey Miller. Here at the Bellota Con. And this is Atlantic Chase, so that's gonna take a while. That rule book is very nice, but very long. Sekigahara is still going on here. And more commands and colors. This one is Ancients. Got Here I Stand being played here. We got here Caesar, Rome versus Gaul. Let's go to the other side. And Ardwolf wanted me to say hello to somebody here, but I think they picked up this is where the great campaigns of the American Civil War is being played. So Ardwolf, I think I got late. I arrived late here. Oh, let's see here. They're playing, I know that, Successors because of the minis. 4-player Successors game. And here we get again to Downfall of Empires. Still raging, like 3 tables. So you see here. And Downfall of Empires is the World War I strategic game by Do It Games. It's a company that is based in Barcelona. This is Downfall of the Third Reich. Quique, ¿cómo que se llama tu perra? ¿Eso es perra?
Perra que se llama Chispa.
Chispa, sí. Me dijeron que van a hacer una compañía que se llama Chispy War Games.
Sí, sí,
Bueno, en Estados Unidos tienen White Dog Games.
así.
Un perro blanco que nadie sabe quién es. Por lo menos Chispy tiene personalidad.
Sí, sí.
Yo tengo una Cocker Spaniel, pero no se portaría así como Chispy aquí.
Vale.
Qué chulería. ¿Has visto esos juegos nuevos?
Me han parecido estupendos.
Sí, porque son
Bestial.
pequeños, pero tienen decisiones a todo lo que da.
A todo que da.
Y siempre decisiones dolorosas que hay que tomar.
Sí, sí, casi. Buenísimo.
Sí.
Buenísimo.
A veces menos es más.
Sí, sí.
Sí. Así que
Yo he jugado, este no, esto lo estoy viendo jugar, el otro lo he jugado, el de la Primera Guerra Mundial, y me ha parecido fantástico. Me ha dicho mi hermano que es mejor este todavía.
Sí, este tiene más elementos y más
Sí, que está buenísimo.
distintos tipos de unidades y eso, sí. No, está estupendo, sí. Yo estoy encantado con el estado que hay del wargaming español y de los diseñadores de...
Yo creo que hay gente muy creativa aquí.
Sí, tiene mucha gente, no solo en diseño, en arte gráfico es una cosa monstruosa también, o sea, porque tampoco nadie quiere jugar un wargame feo.
No, eso está claro, eso está claro.
Tiene que ser inteligente y bonito. Sí. Qué bueno, pues yo voy a seguir por ahí. Gusto verte aquí. Nos vemos, Chippy. Ese era Kike Espárrago. That's Kike Espárrago. He's the designer of Congress of Vienna, which is in the P500 for GMT. And we got John Longshore. The room is like an air-conditioned room. I'm a tropical fish, so I have to put a little like a sweater on, but it's nice. So here we see Downfall. It's being played in various tables. We got Chispy there. She behaves very well. We have Downfall of Empires, is World War I on another table. So how many we got? I'm going to give you a view. We got, I think, 5 Downfall tables actually being played. So this is like the Downfall section. Those 5 tables here. And everybody that's played it enjoys it. So it's a small game, but with a lot of decisions. You have a limited number of actions per turn. And of course you can't do everything that you want to do. And it simulates simulates production. I hope to grab a copy, see one of those playtest copies, see if I'll get one, I don't know. Peter Berg, you like the interviews and the videos? My pleasure. I really enjoyed this. Here we got one of the most popular games here. This is von Manstein's Triumph. There's always people playing it, and here's the other side of the hill, otro lado de la colina, where the designer had to set it up again because yesterday he had another game. So here we are. And here we have a game that we covered yesterday. I forget the title of the game. It's about the Reconquista, 3-player game. We got 2 Muslim players and 1 Christian player. And here we have the annual campaign, which I interviewed the designer yesterday. I have to ask him for a nice book, a good book about the Rift Wars called. So I want to read about that, because this game not only covers what would be the Battle of Anual, this is a strategic game on the Rift War. It's when the Spanish had what we call Spanish Morocco. Morocco was divided between the Spanish and the French, and the Spanish say they got the worst part of it. And they tried to pacify the area, and then they got into a lot of trouble. The game I didn't have a chance to interview the designer or anybody about. I don't know if the designer's here though, is this one. This is The Conquest of the Canary Islands. These are off the coast of Africa. And the map is really nice because it has that period look. See there the units. So these are the Spanish, I think this is the 16th century. So you see there the nice period flavor. Yeah, here we have the turns. Starts in 1478 and goes up to 1496. And there are some cards. We got some pieces here. I like these round pieces, look nice. Some leaders. So I have like a play right here. You take, keep track of origin and destiny. I don't know what that means. And then of course here's Carlos Díaz Narváez. He's the designer of La Carga de los Tres Reyes, the Charge of the Three Kings. Buenos días. And he's also the man who, the general inspector in NAC War Games, make sure everything comes out right. It's a second set of eyes. You can call him the developer. He's a developer, so he's playing there. And I got a copy of that game, so I'll be, when I arrive home, Puerto Rico, I'll be filming some videos on the Charge of the Three Kings. And this is Tanto Monta. This is on GMT's P500, and it has been played here. And this is also designed by Carlos Díaz Narváez, and you can see this is more, I think, what's going to look like I suppose, the final artwork. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if this is the final artwork or not. Maybe not. But this covers the period of the Reconquista using the Here I Stand system. So it's a card-driven game with, I think, 4 players, maybe more. And you see here the cards. Of course, this is a set that is in Spanish. Here we see Golpe a la República. That's Spanish Civil War game using the, yes, Twilight Struggle mechanic, but it adds some more. I played a little Panzerkampf, but I've been filming and really talking to people here. So, but I'm going to play these games when I get them home. I got some of them. And many of them. And here we have Badajoz 1936. I did a separate video. They interviewed the designer yesterday. And I hope to interview the designer today on this one, but they're being played. This is the Falklands War game. It's a 2-player game on the Falklands War. So we'll be hopefully interviewing the designer soon. So it's a lot of interesting games in terms of mechanics and topics. Yes, even that World War II Normandy game seems interesting. With that dichotomy that you play the Canadians and British, and at the same time the Germans defending the American beaches. That's I remember that being introduced in Battle for Germany, an old SPI game. So, Hex Encounter Games, yes, the Badajoz 1936 game is a classic Hex Encounter game. Check that video if you can. It's really interesting because historically the campaign was a pushover for the nationalists. So to make the game interesting, you have chit pull mechanics so that you don't know who's gonna move when. You can designate units instead of moving when their chit is pulled in reserve. So after all the units that move using the chit pull mechanic, then reserve units can move. But the interesting thing also is that in the turn record track, there are deadlines for the nationalists. They have to capture certain spaces by that particular turn to get the full allotment of victory points for that victory point space. If they capture the space at a later date, they get a lesser amount of victory points. And they have to have I think it's 25 victory points or more to win the game. So the other thing the game has that I like is that it represents the militia that was occupying the towns on behalf of the Republic with these unknown strength and identity counters. They have like a question mark, and when the nationalists place a unit adjacent to them, they're revealed, and they can be a unit, it can be a surrender marker, it can be a weak unit, so that adds uncertainty to the play. So with the chit pull mechanic and that mechanic, it kind of ensures that it's going to be a different game all the time. So that's the Hex Encounter game. And if you include the Charge of the Three Kings, it is a Hex Encounter game also. So I think those are the two Hex Encounter games. So this is the map, and we have Danny Altet. Yes, I hope I can do that interview. I have to leave early in the afternoon, and the designer's very busy. I contacted him yesterday. So you see here, this is a Hex Encounter game, and we're looking at the game from the perspective of the Moors here. Here we have the Moor camp with the leaders, and of course they got to, they're attacking the Christians on the other side. Yes, well, all these games by NAC War Games, this initial batch of games have to do with the history of Spain in one way or another. Of course, the Falklands War game, no, because that's a different topic. But they're going to make war games on all topics, not just based on the history of Spain. And now we're looking at the map for the Charge of the Three Kings from the perspective of the Christians. And here we see there's a lot of cavalry, and obviously cavalry is something that once you unleash it, there's a big chance you're going to lose control of it. So it has that element of uncertainty. There's some cards. I'm not sure how the cards play into it. Hola, Carlos. So it's a beautiful game, and I've seen it. They had 2 or 3 tables playing this game continuously. I have a copy, so I'll be making a video on the game. So here you see the rule book, and one thing I like about NAC War Games is that they don't spare any effort in making examples of play in the rule book. It's very well illustrated, and it has, you see some examples here, and I'm planning on making a video just on the examples of play, so you get an idea of how the game plays. There's many examples, and you have leaders and command points. Here you have a picture of the leaders. The components are beautiful. The artwork is just amazing. And here you have the chrome part. You have Sancho, the specific kings, Pedro de Aragon. So there's a defensive palisade. That's where that I showed you a while ago, the Muslim forces in the center of the board. So, and then they have a rule book in Spanish and English. So the game comes always with the English rules, which is cool. This is a rule book in English, and this is the one in Spanish. This is the scenario book, actually. So you have various scenarios, very well illustrated. You have a historical background. It's a very well done production. And, so I have another one set up here. This one's about to start. So this is what I think. This is what the game looks like after you set it up. And this is Friedrich, right? I played this one at Consim World Expo. Friedrich is also a classic in war game conventions. I don't know what this one's about. Looks like a Spanish Civil War to me. No, actually, this is the War of Independence, French invading Spain. You see the French army there, about to invade Spain, Spanish, and I guess the red are British forces. This is Congress of Vienna, was being played also. Space Empires. There's an interview going on here. No Retreat. Carl Paradis. People are starting to pick up, so this is going to be a very short day here. I will be in Spain another week, going to Madrid. I'm going to go hopefully to one or maybe two game shops where they sell a lot of war games. So maybe I can do a video there if they let me film from there, depends. So I may. Wargaming videos may still be coming. I will be editing a few that I've recorded that are not live. And you see how this is the table for the other side of the hill. This is like a favorite. It's been full. It's the German High Command in World War II. And it's been a very popular game here. That's one that I'm very excited for. Personally, I like the topic. There you have the designer, Carlos Marquez, explaining. Okay, we got Peter asking, is there any game there that is generating a lot of interest? This is the one. Well, mostly it's this one. I can also say that von Manstein's Triumph has been played constantly there. Now you see Paco Ronco in the light shirt. He's the designer. But I think the one, actually, Carlos Marquez is the designer of the game. Wasn't going to showcase this game again because he showcased it on Thursday and Friday. He showed another one yesterday, which dealt with imperialism in the 19th century. But then by popular demand, he had to bring this one back. So he set it up. And they're playing, I think they're playing one of the scenarios. I think you can play the whole war, but it'll take about 5 or 6 hours. But there are scenarios where you start the war in 1941. There are several scenarios. And the great thing about this is 4 players can play, right? And each player has a particular role in the German High Command. And those roles are switched in each turn. So you can be the production, in charge of production one turn, and then in charge of military operations the next turn. And also, the cool thing is you can play it solitaire, in which case you control the German